Hey guys, MetalJesus here, and I'm back with a new review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Evercade Alpha. Evercade has created a bunch of devices over the years, but they've settled on a handheld and a console, and those all support the 60 plus game cartridges that they put out. And if you're not familiar with those, they are all fully licensed. They come with a physical cartridge and a full color manual. And now they are adding the Evercade Alpha to that lineup, and as you can see here, it is a Bartop arcade. And they've sent me two of these models for review. I have the Mega Man one as well as the Street Fighter edition, and each of these Bartops comes pre-installed with their own unique games, plus they also have dual cartridge slots in the front. So that means that each of these will also play the 500 plus games that they've already released. So if you've got these in your collection, well, you're going to be able to just pop these in here, and I'm going to show you that working here in a bit. And like I said, these are fully licensed, and some of these games are coming to the home arcade market for the first time. The Evercade Alpha is really designed for people who want that arcade experience, but you don't have the room or even the desire for, like, say, a full-size stand-up arcade machine. I've had both of these for a couple weeks now and invited some friends and family over to help me test them. We ended up playing all the games that were included on both machines, plus we also inserted a bunch of Evercade cartridges that I own, and to top it off, Blaze Entertainment also sent some new cartridges for us to check out. And they've sold over 1 million Evercade cartridges to date. I was blown away to learn that fact. So there are a lot of fans out there like me who have a bunch of these in their collection, and they're going to be able to use them on this device. Here are the built-in games depending on the unit that you buy. Obviously the Mega Man edition is going to come with 2 Mega Man games, but it's also got Strider, which is a fantastic game, as well as Knights of the Round, Carrier Air Wing, and then you have the Street Fighter edition, which is a ton of Street Fighter as you would expect. Now let's take a look at some of the features, starting with that light up marquee bar right there. So what's cool is that in the box, each one of these comes with its own unique swappable marquees. So if you don't like the default one, you can swap out another one really easily. This has stereo speakers that are surprisingly loud, and there's also an 8-inch IPS screen that is really sharp, very nice looking. They say it comes with competition-grade arcade controls, and depending on who you are, you're probably going to want to know the specific brand of that. They didn't include that information in this review unit, but I'm sure you could reach out to them and find out the exact brand of arcade controls they're using. I know for us, again, we've been playing this for a couple weeks now, and they were fine. They felt great.
So this is cool. I like it. It's solid. It feels good. The buttons are good. The joystick is good. Awesome. What else can I play?
Well, you got a couple cartridges there. Let's put them in.
Excellent.
You have the 2 slots to insert Evercade cartridges. You also have 2-player support via those USB ports there. We're also going to be testing that. You have a 3.5mm headphone jack, as well as built-in Wi-Fi for product and operating system updates. And then in the box, they include the power supply, which is great, as well as all the cables that you would need. And like I mentioned, you can add multiple players to this. So obviously Will is going to use the main controls, but then I plugged in just a random Xbox 360 wired controller to the front of that. You don't have to use that. You could actually use an Evercade controller if you already have one, or some other one. And it just detected it and worked perfectly. We didn't have to go in and configure it or do any of that stuff. So again, that's pretty cool. And then internally, it's built around a CPU that's running at 1.5 gigahertz with about 512 megabytes of RAM. I believe the operating system is running Linux. And then as for the price of this, well, they're going to be doing pre-orders till November 28th. So if you get in before then, the cost of this is going to be $230 US. But then after November 28th, it's going to be an additional $20 more. And as for using the unit itself, it feels very sturdy, very well built. It's heavy enough so that it stays kind of where you put it, even if you're playing a bunch of action games. And then like I mentioned previously, the screen is really nice and crisp. The brightness level is really good. And one concern with a lot of these kind of devices is latency. And so, like I said, we've been using this for a couple weeks now, playing a ton of different games, and we didn't really notice any latency between the controls and the action on the screen. However, it's important to know that this is running emulation, right? And so, there is going to be some compared to something like an FPGA or, a real arcade machine. But like I said, we didn't really notice it at all. That said, I could see tournament, high-level Street Fighter players not wanting to really tolerate any lag whatsoever. And so, consider if that's you and that's important to you, probably an emulation device is not going to be the best solution for you. This is probably for more casual people as opposed to people who are really trying to play at the top end. And then I want to dive into the operating system and show you some highlights there, including, you'll notice there that every one of the built-in games has a demo mode. You can tap Y to start the demo mode, or it'll automatically start after a couple minutes, and that's completely configurable in the settings. And then running down the icons on the left there, you have the cartridge section. This is where it'll display whatever cartridges that you've inserted in the front of it. And this is very similar to how the Versus console works. You can mix and match those different cartridges in there. You can put one in, you can put two in, you can hot swap them. It doesn't matter at all. It's actually really cool how it works. And then each one of these cartridges, when you pop it in there, you can go into the details of the specific game. And in there, you can read a little bit of history about the game. You can see the controls. But then check this out. There's these little dots over here. That's very important because that's when you can go in there and customize the controls. So if the jump and the attack doesn't feel quite right to you, that's actually where you can change it. And then once inside the game, you can bring up the settings at any time by just hitting the menu button. And in there, as you see here, you've got a lot of options as well. And this is worth checking out because this is where you can customize several different aspects of the experience, starting with the display. So, like other systems, you can choose whether you want the aspect ratio to be either pixel perfect or stretched out. You can also turn on or off scan lines. You can also mess around with the bezels and things like that because, again, keep in mind that a lot of these arcade games will be, taller than they are wider. And so having bezels on or off, that can be a nice little feature for you. On the left here, you see the star, and that's actually pretty cool because that's where the free game of the month is. So regardless of whether you buy new cartridges or not, it's always worth kind of jumping in here every month to see what's new for you to play. You also have your hidden games here, and how you get those is, well, it's interesting. There's a lot of hidden stuff in this operating system. There's a secret code area that you can try to discover on your own. Basically, you follow the Evercade groups on Facebook and Twitter and Discord, and you'll learn some of this stuff, or you can just Google it. They also have some of it on their website. But what's cool is that also things unlock depending on the cartridge combination you put in. So as you build your library up, you'll learn that games will unlock as you mess around with the operating system. So again, I'm not going to spoil everything, but this is part of that. New to the operating system this year is the library. So this is a digital bookshelf of the cartridges and games you own. Plus, you'll get the news and announcements of upcoming cartridges. And what's cool about this is that you can come in here and sort the complete catalog by genre. So if you're looking for just first-person shooters, or you're looking for platformers or pinball games, this is where you could quickly see which cartridge has those. It also keeps track of everything that you played on here. So you can see right here that I've inserted 16 of these cartridges so far into this particular machine. And so as you can tell, we had a lot of fun messing around with this. I like, again, how sturdy it is. The controls feel really good. The screen is really nice. And the fact that it supports all of their previous cartridges is pretty cool. And it feels like a nice complement to their other two devices, right? They have a handheld with that small screen, which is very personal. And then they have the Versus, which is a console that you use on your big screen television. But as you can see here, sitting on my bar, this is perfect for parties, right? People can come up and pop in a cartridge, mess around, check it out, play a two-player if I plug in another controller. It's pretty cool. And I feel like the price is pretty decent, Evercade has a reputation for putting out pretty reasonably priced devices, and this one is $230 for a pre-order until November 28th. So again, that feels pretty reasonable to me when it seems like everything else is probably double that sometimes. I should also say I didn't test every cartridge in every game because there are over 500 games that you could potentially run on this and over 60 cartridges, and so that would take a long time. But everything that I threw at it, it worked just fine.
Moon Patrol.
Hell yeah.
I think I can handle a little Moon Patrol. Moon Patrol?
Moon Patrol?
That's the cows. That's where you're...
But I would love to know what you think. Is this something that you are going to be adding to your game room? I think if you are already in the Evercade ecosystem like I am, it's kind of a no-brainer, especially if you have some people over or you have a bar or a table that you would want to use this with. It seems like it's just a no-brainer because, again, all your cartridges is just going to work. But I would love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, guys, I want to thank you for watching my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.
Dun 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 dun
Do the squeal.
dun dun dun.